Well, hello guys, this is your girl Diva Fashionista, bringing you another movie review. I know. I'm just so excited about this one. This one I waited. I counted down. I could not wait for the Wendy Williams movie. I have to say, disclaimer, I am a fan. So it was going to be hard for me not to like this movie. I did enjoy it. I like this type of thing, like I liked seeing Wendy tell her story. Now, did it go as deep as I thought it should? No, I don't. Like, I kind of want to see the unauthorized, pick now. Like, all right, somebody tell me what happened. I need an intern. I need somebody working out. How do you something? Tell me, everybody else we used to work with her together, and y'all tell me what y'all saw from your perspective. I would love to see that. But this was cute for what it was. I did enjoy it. This is going to be a review. I'm going to try to give you a brief recap. I'm not your blow for blow girl. I'm not your this happened. That's just not what I do here on this channel. I like to tell you about the movie, tell you what I liked and what I disliked about the movie. So we start off, this is probably supposed to be present day Wendy, but old girl is just a little too young. We know, in the words of Auntie Wendy, she's a woman of a particular age, and this woman looks to be in her 30s. So, and she's thinner. I don't know, Wendy is really thin in the later, now, she's really thin. But, starts off behind the scenes. Is that Brennan or Brendan? And she waves, she goes out, and then we do a little freeze frame a la Zach Morris, and stops, and then she addresses us, and we kind of get a how you doing, but not quite, because that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the catchphrase. So the actress, she's Wendy S. It's gonna be hard finding someone who looks exactly like Wendy Williams, besides her bug eyes, her crazy, not making fun of it, but and just Wendy's a big persona. She's just that's her look, but she looks enough like Wendy. The skin tone is good. The one thing that did throw me off was the accent. I felt like her New Jersey accent, the actress that plays her, I'll probably have to put her name up because I didn't catch it, but the actress that plays her has a strong New Jersey accent. I feel like when Wendy speaks, and that comes with being on the radio and being successful, you kind of do have to kind of blur out any type of accent. I don't really feel like you hear Jersey, and somebody's gonna be like, yes you do, but I don't hear it. And her accent isn't as strong as the actress, is what I want to say. So the actress kind of does a voiceover. We're getting Wendy's story, but it's the actress's voice and not Wendy's voice narrating the story. Would I have gone with Wendy? I probably would have, but that probably would have been a lot on Wendy. So the actress is telling from her perspective right as she's about to go out onto the stage, and we kind of get a start from the beginning and present time, flashback, same thing we had with the Salt and Pepper. I'm like, is that a lifetime standard? We start and then we go through the movie, then we come back to this. Okay, can we don't need to do that for the next one. I'm just letting y'all know we've seen it. Do something else. So we flash back to Wendy growing up, and little Wendy was cute. Wendy talks about how she was 11 and she was a size 11. She's a big girl, and it was kind of tough seeing these scenes with the mom and the dad. And it's more you get that her mom is kind of domineering, and you somewhat. It'll play out in her relationship as well. They're strong women, they're opinionated, and they run a house. And the mother and the father both seem like they're obsessed with her weight. We get to see her brother and her younger brother, who was in all the headlines last week, just talking about Wendy. And we get to see her sister, the older sister. She comes out. Who's Wanda? I don't know. I'm not good with names, so don't get me to lying I know somebody's name. I got Tommy because Tommy been doing all the talking. Besides the dynamic with the mom, which is also hard to see because the mom, we now know the mom is passed. So seeing that, they weren't the kindest to her, it was kind of hard to watch, but it is what it is, and it happens. And then later on, in the documentary, we see the mom and the dad again. I'm glad she was around long enough to film that. That was such a blessing. May she rest in peace. I gotta talk about the situation with the girl. I thought that scene was hilarious, and I know we all have those things from our childhood where that will always stick with us, and that was a defining moment. But when she goes to the birthday party and she just had to win, that is so Wendy's personality. She just had to win musical chairs. She wins and then breaks the chair, and then they like almost got get kicked out. The mom was trying to apologize, slams the door in her face. I was like, wow. But that probably will always like stay with as a memory. And I know even myself, I have those childhood memories, but I did get a chuckle out of that, and I'm glad Wendy shared that with us. So now she's in college. She's in college, and she, major. I think she did major in like communications. I don't. That's probably not the name of the degree that she was pursuing, but something like that. And so she gets herself on radio, and Kathy Hughes is the only one to hire, and she's all the way in Philly. And it was so funny because it shows Kathy Hughes is not being so nice to her and smoking and all that. And you see now, if you see Kathy Hughes, she owns TV One, and she's just a force in radio. Sorry. I was like, I'm looking for the name of the market, and it just was like but she's just such a force. But she always get that she's nice. I never got the impression or heard people say like she wasn't nice. So to see that she wasn't nice to Wendy, that was interesting to see. So Wendy's in the industry now. Wendy is driven. She interviews a R&B singer. Okay, so it's R&B singer, and the gentleman winds up date raping her. And as of leading up to the promo of this, like, she doesn't say his name in the movie. She didn't say his name. What was his name? Ricky Tony or something like that. It was a cute name. I liked it. But she didn't say his name. But leading up to the promo of this movie premiering, she actually shares his name. And there's a little drama behind that because his family is saying, like, let him rest in peace. Like, why would you say now? You never said it. He's not here to defend himself. I do believe in telling truths, and I do believe in sharing things, because things like that it's really tough. It's really tough to just bury that and keep it moving. And that's exactly what Wendy did. She didn't seek counsel. She didn't seek to ruin this guy. And I think it probably was harder on him seeing her blow up as his career kind of faded away, and he's not living now. So yeah, that had to be tough. And I'm also one of those things, I'm glad that she shared, don't be as naive. Don't just go places with people you don't know. Have people with you. Just be smart. As a woman, just protect yourself and protect your space, because anything can happen to you in those spaces where you're alone. I wouldn't say that, but moving on back to the movie. So Wendy's on coke. All right, she's on coke. I saw somebody on Twitter say crack. She's a crackhead, and people with money get very offended when you mix crack and coke. Like later on, Whitney Houston, so ironic. It's so ironic that she's asking her about drugs when you was a full-blown cokehead yourself. It's really, really ironic. I wouldn't have known that at the time. I was a big Wendy Williams fan. So as she's going through her timeline as her career, I was lost. So I'm not even going to try to say she was here and then she was there, because I was kind of lost. Because I remember coming home from school and listening to Wendy Williams on Hot 97. That's what I remember. After school around 4 p.m., Wendy would be on the radio. I do remember the firing. I don't remember the first firing. I remember the second firing, because that's when she was huge. Like, she was really huge. And she implies that somebody was like, was kissing Bud and they kind of replaced her. I remember that to be Angie Martinez. And I did not like Angie Martinez for Wendy Williams. I'm going to tell you that right now. Because when she got fired that last time, Angie Martinez took over and Wendy was like, oh. And I remember her like going to BLS after that. But the way she told the timeline, I have it confused, because that's not how it plays out in my mind. So not even going to try to explain that to you. She's in Philly. she's not happy. She wants to be in New York. It's not so much that she's not happy. It's like she's driven. She sees the bigger fish, sees the bigger pond, and that's where she wants to be. And that's who she wants to be. So she gets herself to New York, and at first it's just part-time. But then eventually she gets a full-time gig, and she's doing well. And she tries to distinguish herself, and she starts bringing the gossip to the radio. Now, that's how I knew Wendy, with the gossip. She gossiped, she tell everybody business. She would go out, and she said it before. She'd go out. She was on the scene, she'd party, and I didn't know she was dating so many people in the industry, because even the hubster was telling me people I didn't know. Because when I said, oh, that's Eric B, he was like, oh, what about Eric Sermon? Like, she dated Eric Sermon, she dated Biggie, like she was dating. She was, as she would say, zipping and zooing. And in the movie, we didn't see all those relationships. Like, I was disappointed not to see Biggie. And then this week she said that she was messing with Meth. I'm like, we hear Meth's name, but we don't see Method Man in the movie. Another thing that I would have liked to see was, didn't somebody punch her in the face? One of these rappers punched her in the face. I know that was the rumor. She got punched in the face. I wanted to see who punched you in the face, Wendy. You had to tell us that. Like, is that true? Plenty of people wanted to fight her. Plenty of people done cursed her out, called her out her name, because she was telling all the business, and I was here for it. I was home after school every day, like, and who did what? She touches on, like, the gay rapper. Let me tell you something. She was fascinated with the gay rapper. The gay rapper was a thing. Does she know? I don't know if she knows the identity of the gay rapper, but that was a big thing. It even went to other shows. Like, I remember someone supposedly interviewed the gay rappers, and he was trying to come out with his own rap career. It was crazy. But supposedly, that's where the how you doing comes from, because that's what she would say, like, when she would imply, like, someone was gay, because she would get into trouble so much. The show would get in trouble talking about surgery, but she got in trouble talking about people's business, people calling up. She talked about Bill Cosby. You know, she says that on the show. He tried to get her fired. Diddy trying to get her fired at one point, because she was talking about Diddy implying that he was gay. It was a lot. It was a lot. And I kind of remember listening to it. I do remember listening to I was at the DMV, because a lot of I was really young, but when she interviewed Whitney, that was BLS. Those were BLS days. And I remember hearing that. That was crazy. That interview is crazy. The hubster said the interview was here on YouTube, so if you guys want to check that out, if you've never heard that interview, I remember I heard it in real time, in real life, in the DMV, and I remember thinking, like, are they supposed to play this here? Like, is this okay? Like, I guess in Harlem, it's like, whatever, we black, this is what we do. But I was just so like Whitney is telling her off. Like, she was never one to shy away from it, you know? And I love that about Wendy. It was just totally juicy. So when she would get fired and stuff, like, oh, she wouldn't be on the radio, like, she got suspended. At one point they suspended her, and they like she's suspended with pay, because, you know, she's on the contract, so she can't, like, you know, she can't work anywhere else. Like, they're not firing her, so they're really punishing her. So she basically, like, then she goes back to Philly, and she basically, you know, she works her way around the contract. Like, it says I can't work in New York. So she goes and she works there, and she's able to take the radio station she goes to from 14 to, like, #1. Is consistently back and forth competing with another station for #1. So she's a force. She's a force. She's undeniable. So this is where I kind of disagree with the direction of the movie. It was going really quickly, and I did want to know more about her career. I wanted to know more about, like, little things she got into. Like, I wanted to see more celebrities who came. We got to see Total come, because she said Total was broken, living in the projects, and Total came to fight her. And then Kevin came, and he pulls up and scared them off. I want to know if he had a gun, because I want to know how it's 3 of them, and they supposed to be tough. And as big as Kevin is, it's still 3 of y'all. Like, one of y'all couldn't have ran around her, snuck a hit or something like that, or was it just to, you know, to scare her? That was just really where I was like, yeah, he was able to scare all 3 of them by himself. Like, I love that. I don't think they were the only one that came and tried to fight her. And she's like, no one gave her a heads up. Everybody's watching. Everybody knows. And the actress played Wendy. That was very Wendy. Like, I could see that's how Wendy acted. Like, you go see what they want. Like, who is that? Like, what was hilarious though is that the Total girls was dressed like Total with the glasses and they had the heels. Like, who's coming to fight like that? I'm pretty sure they was like, bandanaed up, greased up, no shades. You ready? Gotta throw some brass knuckles. I would hope so. If you coming to fight, you ain't coming with those stiletto boots on and little biker jackets. But we're supposed to know who it is, and we get it. Even if she didn't say it was Total, I would have known that was Total. That was really cute. So when he said she's like blowing up and she gets herself back to New York. She gets herself back to New York and it's like undeniable. She's a force now. She's writing books and she's like really like blowing up. And that's where I wanted to see more. Like, cause you know, she had the show on VH1 with Charlemagne, who I didn't know who the hell a Charlemagne was at the time. But you see now looking at the clip like, oh my gosh, that's Charlemagne. Like, oh my goodness, duh. Like she, we didn't get to see that part, but you know, it's a document, it's a biopic, guys. Are we going to we going to normalize saying biopic? Because I've been hearing biopic, and I'm like, that's not how you say that word. I think biopic is going to be the new conversate. Like, we're going to say it so much, we like saying it so much that it's going to become a word. I'm calling it because it's definitely biopic. But I feel like any minute now it's just going to be accepted by biopic, but no. Biopic. But anywho, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. Anywho, I would want to see more of her career. I know it's her story and she want to tell what she wants to tell about her story and she wants to share what she finds pertinent. And I do feel like this movie is reclaiming her power. Her being cheated on destroyed her. It really destroyed her. As a fan of the show, you see a lot of people accusing her of being on drugs again, being strung out. I actually did. Maybe she did relapse because she tells us she's at the sober house, and come to find out, like, that was more of like Kevin's manipulation. Like, he kind of like trying to control her, like, you know, put her in the sober house, and she was drinking heavily because his cheating is like he was cheating for a while. Like, he's cheating for a while, and his cheating, it was affecting her. And the way she internalized, you're not talking to her, you're not really telling anybody. And I think she even says that about probably in documentary, like, if you tell them, all they're going to say is leave them, you know, like, no one's not going to really give you any coping, and you're not seeking professional. Even a doctor, like when she goes to see her doctor, the doctor tells her, like, you probably want to seek counseling. And it's like, oh, no, moving right along. And I do feel like the show is therapy in a sense. That's why she tells us all, like, not all her business, but she tells us stuff that, like, is not pertinent to the show. I mean, I guess that becomes her charm. But I just watching the show, a lot of times she's like, I ate this and then I went home and I was there and I was like that. And it's like, yeah, you need either a good girlfriend or a good therapist. It's not us, but I guess that's where her diary and where her therapist. But I definitely would tell people, I see it sometimes here on YouTube too, a lot of people get it and they just talk and they talk and they talk, and it's like you need help. You need someone, you need a good friend that's going to tell you if you're right or wrong, and you need seeing a counselor we need to normalize it. We need to normalize seeing a counselor and having those people that's going to tell us those hard truths. I am totally an advocate of it. But when I see people just talking, and they're talking about, you know, their selves and things like that, it's like, yeah, you're getting it off your chest, but talking to the camera can't help you. You might feel better talking about it later, but it's not going to give you solutions or really bounce things off for you to think about. But again, I'm getting sidetracked. We're talking about Wendy and the movie. So she really gets into her relationship. Basically, she had a bunch of miscarriages, which we knew because if you're a fan, she says it in the show. She tells us how she had Kevin Jr. Basically, she finally just had to go on bed rest. She found the right doctor that told her your cervix is weak. You got to be on bed rest. You can't, you know, her body just can't hold it. She's already a big, tall woman. Got the boobs by now, I'm pretty sure, and just can't hold the weight of it. So she goes on bed rest and she has her miracle baby. She has little Kevin after miscarriage, even having to push out one of her babies that she was farther along, like 5 months, which is, it's a lot. And you know, she has my prayers, because that's tough. That had to be tough. But meanwhile, all along, Mr. Kevin is cheating. She doesn't really want to talk about Kevin Jr. She doesn't really show him, even though we've seen him. That's like a new trend I'm seeing, like not showing baby faces, and I don't know what's that about, especially babies that we've already seen, children that we've already seen, know exactly what he looks like, but his face is blurred and everything. And she's like, you know, he's off limits. And I respect that, because he didn't ask to be a celebrity. He didn't ask to have celebrity parents. It's just a situation that he's born into. And yeah, so she doesn't really talk about that, but she's telling us more about the relationship. And I kind of zoned out a little bit. I kind of like glossed over this part, because I really wasn't interested in the relationship. Like, okay, I get it. It's a big part of her life, and she probably really needed this so that she could move on, because she was getting messy. It was getting really messy, like with the show, and people were like, oh, she's so strung out. She needs a break. She needs to stop. I actually thought that she didn't want to do the show anymore. So to see her behind the scenes really fighting, like, no, I have to get back to my show. I need to do my show. I owe it to them. I want my show. I was actually shocked to see that, because I get sometimes like the show is a lot. In my mind, if Wendy could do the show maybe 2-3 times a week, or maybe every other week, you know, part-time-ish, I think that she would be more happy. Like, she loves her show, probably loves the income she gets from it, but it's a lot. It's a lot, especially when you're going through things. But behind the scenes, this man is terrorizing the staff. He's just unpleasant. She calls him a thug, like, oh, he's a thug, and she's turned on by the thug. But it's like, if he's a thug in real life, how intimidating it is to the staff. Like, he's telling her not to talk to her and things like that. Everything has to go through him, or he has to be present for any conversation. Like, you can't really do business like that, especially if he's living a whole nother life. He's living life over there, and he got to come back. And like, you're riding to the studio every day, which that's what she basically said. Like, riding to the studio every day, which we now see probably wasn't the truest thing. But for better or worse, she loved him. She's with this man for 20-something odd years. But he now is not only just cheating, he now has a secondary relationship. And now the lady is pregnant. She finds out because she's suspecting, you know, Charlemagne introduced him to the girl. And she's saying this lady's name all willy-nilly. That is like, so that was a lot for me. Like, she's saying her name. We don't get no cute little nickname. We don't get her, that bitch. We get her name. And I'm just like, why isn't she suing the pants off of Wendy? Why isn't there any type of injunction where she can't say her name? Because she done said the lady name and the baby name on the show this week. And I'm just like, wow, Wendy, you are doing the most. We was going to watch. You ain't had to do all that. You ain't had to tell us about the one night stand with Method Man, which we don't see in the movie. And you have to tell us all of this. But she's telling it all leading up. Like, we were going to watch. You really didn't have to be this messy. Now, he got the audacity, okay? Because not only does he have his shit in the house, when he's funding this lifestyle, driving cars, buying cars, which I remember when she had the car repoed, I said, you go, girl. Fly ass cars, like, they living a life. Like, he didn't really dress like him on in the movie. Kevin looked like my man said Kevin looked like Suge Knight. You know, like, whenever you gotta have the mean husband, you gotta look like Suge Knight. I was dying laughing. I wanted him to be in this movie, but he's still actually watching the movie, so I couldn't wait no more. I'm like, I'm sitting here ready to film, like, you know what, you'll be in the next one. But he's hilarious. I gotta get him in one of my reviews. But he got out at the house. I chuckled when Wendy went to the house and she spray painted. Like, you were supposed to write whore, not Wendy and Kevin forever. You supposed to write whore, home wrecker, hoe. You were supposed to write all of that. Like, that's not how you vandalize. You know, she don't got not a lick of hood in her. And she glued the mailbox shut. Hilarious. I thought that was cute. Yeah, what else can I say? I'm pretty sure this is super, super long as well. I don't do recaps, but I gotta give you a little bit of recap because I realize some of you guys don't actually watch the movie. You go to the review to see if you should watch the movie. I found it very entertaining. I would love to see the stats on, like, I want to see the, you know, the views of the ratings. That's the word I'm looking for. I would love to see the ratings of this movie because I know everyone had to be like sitting there waiting with bated breath, like, to see this movie. It didn't spill all the tea that I would have wanted to. Like, I wanted more industry stuff, like the stuff we know her for doing, you know, spilling the tea. We got a lot of her relationship, and I do understand. I do think she needed to get this off her chest. Yeah, other things, her being in rehab, her finding out. Yeah, watch the movie. I can't keep going on. It's got this little congestion. You're talking about, and then this happened, and this happened. Like I said, we have a full circle moment. It goes back to her. We go back to her talking as she's about to go out onto the set, and then Wendy kind of drops in the chair, and it's the actual Wendy. Love to see the big reveal of the actual star, and she's talking straight to us. And then we finally get a "how you doing" at the end of the movie, which is a perfect, because I was waiting for it. I was waiting, okay, how she come up with the "how you doing"? Like, we didn't get any of that, but we end with the "how you doing," and it was perfect. I love the movie. I still would like to see it from another perspective, maybe the unauthorized. If she's already on Lifetime, so Lifetime usually does the unauthorized. So who gonna do the unauthorized? Like BET, like I need to see, I want to know some of the other stuff. I need to know who punched in the face, you know? It was really good. The documentary, we'll definitely watch the documentary afterwards. Seeing Wendy a mess. She was like a mess. I was almost scared for her, and I was scared to watch it. And I'm like, this is not good. But the hub still was like, nah, this is good. Seeing her like this, seeing her vulnerable, seeing her not all dolled up. That's another thing I did not like about the movie. Because Wendy, if you're a true Wendy fan, you know that Wendy was a hot mess. Wendy had a definite glow up. When she got that national syndicated TV show money, that's when the wigs became real right. That's when the face became real beat. That's when the look was together. Because, you know, they showed clips of the Omarosa, like interview. You see when he had a little tube top dress on, you know, the hair was still a little curly and big. Like, Wendy was tacky. I love me some I love tacky. I love tacky. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a little tacky too. And I love my cheetah and my leopard, all that stuff. But Wendy was a little tacky, and Wendy was still big when she first was like on, like when she was still on radio before she got her life, all that type of stuff. She was still big. So the actress was a little way too skinny. I'm gonna need her in a fat suit at some point, or a little, you know, chunkier than how she was portrayed. Because Wendy was a thick girl, and her hair was reddish. Like, she did the 27. She was a good 27 for most of her career until she got the TV show, and then we start seeing the blondes, you know, and the lighter, and definitely the look evolved. But I wanted to see tacky Wendy. I wanted to see Wendy with the W chain, the jersey chain. I wanted to see Wendy, you know, the pink and the clothes not fitting too right. Like, I feel like we glossed over that. But anywho, that's all I have to say. Let me know how you guys like this movie. Did you enjoy it? I enjoyed it. I don't really want to see y'all tearing this down, because I feel like we never satisfied. Like, it's like every time one of these movies come out, it's just not good enough. We nitpicking the littlest thing. I mean, I gotta say, for me, it was a 7 out of 10. It wasn't a 10 for me. It was a 7. I did enjoy it. I did like it. But it wasn't trash. And if I hear y'all saying it was trash, I'm going to be really mad, because I don't really feel like it was trash. Either way, let me know your thoughts down below. Did you like it? Did you like this review? Let me know, guys. And I will. If you don't catch me, I will catch you in the next one, because I'm pretty sure there's more to come. All right, guys. Thank you so very much for watching. Later.